As Athena introduced me, I'm Christine from the Helmholtz Center of Environmental Research in Germany, and I will be talking about Project CityCLIM, Next Generation City Climate Services using advanced weather models and emerging data sources. And today I am representing the whole CityCLIM team, who is 12 consortium partners across 6 countries in Europe. And we are comprised of industry, research institutes, city administration, and even a media group. And also the project is driven by the 4 pilot cities addressing diverse cultural and climatic regions in Europe. And those are Luxembourg, um, Thessaloniki in Greece, Valencia in Spain, and Karlsruhe in Germany. So just a little bit of background before I talk about the project. And of course, this is a climate resilience webinar, so I'm sure you're all aware already that climate change has significant influence upon human life in cities, such as the habitability and quality of life. And with heat stress likely to intensify with climate change, this poses significant risks to these urban centers and its citizens. For example, urban heat islands have a range of negative effects, including increased energy consumption, as well as air pollution due to the thermal temperature inversion trapping smoke, trapping smog and pollution, and a range of other heat-related health problems. So that's the doom and the gloom side of things. But the positive is that cities are catalysts for change and have the resources and the power to deal with complex climate challenges. So cities can and will play a vital role in climate adaptation solutions. So that's all very inspiring, but exactly how will CityCLIM help cities to achieve this climate action? So the project aim is to use emerging data sources such as satellite and airborne data, as well as in situ measurements like citizen science data, and combine it to develop an open platform and an advanced urban weather forecasting tool, so a very high resolution weather model to provide these climate services across diverse cities in Europe. So the output of this broadly in 2 categories will be citizen climate knowledge services. So that will be near real-time warnings for heat waves, air pollution, and as well as another category for city administration services. In addition, there will be a simulation scenario tool. So users can modify urban areas and explore the impacts of their modification to urban climate with respect to heat, pollution, and airflow. For example, they could look at what if there was a green space, a park, instead of concrete, instead of a parking lot, and how that would affect the land surface temperature. So the Ultra HD weather model underpins a lot of the climate services in CityCLIM. What exactly is it? It's a weather model just like any other that runs forecasts. However, the difference is the high resolution. So the resolution that's suitable for a high heterogeneity area like urban environments. And its operational loop is every 6 hours. It would produce forecasts for the next 2 to 3 days. As well, Earth observation can be used to sharpen land surface temperature data even further. So by taking advantage of the high resolution optical sensors in satellites like Landsat or Sentinel-2, with the downscaled images, we can analyze heat island effects in urban areas and estimate relevant thermal indices. Another unique point of the CityCLIM project is our citizen science methods. It's exciting because a couple of weeks ago we were in Karlsruhe, and next week we'll be in Valencia, and the week after in Thessaloniki, in order to start our campaign of collection of in situ citizen science climate data using METEO trackers, which citizens can put on their bicycles and produce a heat map similar to the one that you see in the top right corner of the slide. And within the project, there's a spectrum of citizen engagement. So beyond the data collection, there will be a crowdsourcing of historical data, and similar to the platform that you see that Meteorologics already has for historical data on the bottom left, as well as a citizen heat sensation map, so that users can use this map that you can see a mock-up on the left side picture on the RTL website, and also available on the RTL app on phones to, for example, plan a safe and comfortable route through conditions where there's high heat. And the city administrations are also going to be organizing climate adaptation co-design workshops. So that brings together citizens and decision makers together to work out climate adaptation solutions. So it's a whole spectrum of citizen engagement, and that's something that we're really excited and proud of in the CityCLIM project. So this is a rough timeline of the innovation stages that the project covers. From the start to the early prototypes to the full prototypes, and then the start of commercialization. So currently we've just passed a major milestone of key early prototype developments of the CityCLIM project components, and that shows that we are on track and ready to roll out city climate services in the 4 pilot regions. So to give you a rundown of the achievements, the early prototype development was associated with 12 deliverables, including the CityCLIM central cloud platform and data processors. For example, the spaceborne and airborne data processors that you can see some preliminary images on the right there. We also produced a functioning early prototype of the advanced urban weather model and a front end of the city administration service platform that the cities are now able to test. And we also were able to begin the public advertisement for citizen engagement activities through a TV and radio segment and news articles on RTL Luxembourg. And this media engagement reached over 1 million citizens. So all of this, the achievements and the early prototypes are quite significant because this is proof of concept for CityCLIM city climate services. So basically it means that it works, which is a big deal because within the project, the aim to provide this high resolution, near real-time simulation model that's suitable for high heterogeneity urban environments is something that currently doesn't exist in technology on an operational level. So CityCLIM addresses this gap, as well as addressing the lack of implementation of scientific methods in commercial products and the integration of new EO emissions in operational workflows and commercial products. And overall, to sum up, we need more projects aiming towards operational usage of scientific achievements to support the innovation transfer, which is why I'm really excited to hear about all of the other projects in this webinar. So thank you so much for your attention for this presentation. And it's a lot to fit into 10 minutes. So if you want to learn more about the project, please visit cityclim.eu. And you can also stay up to date with what we're up to and where we are in the project by following us on our social media, LinkedIn and our Twitter. And of course, you can also contact me for any questions. Thank you.
So I'm going to present you the results of a live project. It's called Live BAETULO project that developed an integrated early warning system for multi-hazard and risk management to ensure climate change adaptation. The project started in July 2020 and finished last year. It has a duration of 2 years and a half, and Aquatec were the coordinators in collaboration with the City Council of Badalona, Metropolitan Area of Barcelona, and I was the Barcelona. The project, since it's a live project, is a demonstrator project, and the case study was located in Badalona. Badalona is a coastal city near Barcelona, and the project has a budget of 1.2 million euros. So the objective of the project was the development of an implementation of an integrated early warning system as an adaptation measure for urban areas that included the automated warnings and emergency protocols for climate risks that can affect any urban area. In the novelty or the innovation of the solution is that it integrated in a single platform, in a single tool, all the climate risks that can affect urban areas, including fluvial flooding, combined sewer overflows. This kind of risks is very relevant in coastal areas like Badalona. Also, it's included phenomena like windstorms, storm surges, heat waves, cold waves, snowfalls, forest fires, and also episodes of air pollution. So the functionalities of this integrated early warning system are summarized here. It includes an advanced prediction of relevant weather episodes that can cause impacts in these urban areas, not only in the physical part of the city, but also in the inhabitants. It also includes a module for real-time monitoring of the episodes based on the data analysis of several sensors and cameras located in the city, and also estimates the impacts based on the advanced offline modeling tools, such as it estimates the streets at risk of flooding for pedestrians or vehicles, also estimated duration of bathing water pollution quality according to the rain intensity or the heat island effect based on previous studies. It also includes a module for the identification and georeferentiation of vulnerable elements. As you know, vulnerability is one of the main factors affecting risk. So here we put this emphasis in identifying and locating vulnerable elements to each of the hazards that has been considered by the platform. Also, since it's a decision support tool and a managing support tool, it also includes a digitalization of and automation of the emergency protocols that the risk managers or the risk owners must to accomplish in the event of climate hazards. Finally, it also includes, as a solution in combination with the platform, an APP for citizens to inform them about the warnings and all the self-protection actions that the people can perform by themselves to reduce the exposure and vulnerability to the climate hazards. So this is the structure of Live BAETULO solution. It has several modules on it. The first one regarding data gathering. In the case of Badalona, we introduce the data gathering of several sources of data. Here you have an example. We included 24 water level sensors in sewers, 4 water level sensors measuring rain. So yes, this is the module for data gathering, including all these kind of sensors: water level, weather stations, rain gauges, air quality stations, also a buoy measuring wave height in the sea to measure the storm surge episodes, one camera monitoring storm surges and combined sewer overflows. Of course, all the weather forecasting that we integrated from the Catalan service of weather forecasting, and also results of bathing waters quality. On the other hand, we also have this module including the results. I mean, it's not an online module with all the models running in real time, but we have incorporated the results of previous modeling results that help us to show the risk managers results regarding hazard and risk maps for the different climate hazards. Also, as I said, there is a module digitalizing and automatizing all the emergency protocols, including alert thresholds, vulnerable elements, and detailed actions to be done. As a result, we develop two tools, as I commented before. The first one is the platform for risk managers. This screen is well, all the content is in Spanish, but I can make you like a summary. In the upper part of this platform, the user has a summary of the different hazards and the state that they are experiencing. I mean, all the levels of pre-alert, alert, and emerging for each of the climate hazards are launched here. On the other hand, it includes a map of the city, in this case of Badalona, showing the location of the vulnerable elements affected by each one of the climate hazards. Also includes the monitoring of the most relevant variables affecting each hazard, and a summary of the forecasting information, weather forecasting information. Also includes a summary of the variables that has launched each one of the alerts. I mean, which are the triggers that has been accomplished to launch each one of the alert levels. And of course, a summary of the actions that the risk manager must perform and the responsible department inside the city council that must perform these actions. This is like a checklist tool for the risk manager that can select the actions that has been done so that the following time only the pending actions are shown. Finally, the platform also includes a summary of previous episodes so that the users can learn from past experience to decide which actions to be performed. As a second result or second tool that has resulted from BAETULO project, as I mentioned, is the Citizens app. The Citizens app it's a free app available in the Android and iOS environments that can the Badalona citizens can install in their mobile phones. It's a very easy tool. A very easy application. It includes a summary, first of all, of the climate hazards that are in alert, in pre-alert, alert, or emergency in the city of Badalona. Also includes a summary of the causes of these states. I mean, which are the variables or the values that has launched these levels. And finally, of course, a set of recommendations of actions to do and not to do to protect themselves and decrease the exposure and the vulnerability of citizens and their assets to the climate hazards that has been launched. Finally, as a summary of the benefits of or results of the Live BAETULO project, we can say that the results of the project are an innovative integrated solution for climate risk managers. It's also a transparency and awareness raising tool to our citizens because of the Citizens app. The integrated early warning system has demonstrated to be a cost-efficient measure for adaptation of urban areas to climate change. Inside the project, we has performed a cost-benefit analysis, which has demonstrated benefit-cost ratios around 14, meaning that the return of investment of this kind of technologies are very, very, very high, very, very short in time. Also, these kind of tools are totally aligned with the Covenant of Mayors concerning climate change adaptation and mitigation. and disaster risk reduction initiatives, and are a mean to increase urban resilience and minimize impact, of course, on people's health and well-being, impacts on urban assets, in the case of Badalona, also in beaches and bathers and aquatic ecosystems. So this is all about the project. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, and also you can check the website of the project and also email me whenever you need. Thank you.
Introduction, as you said, I'll be presenting project ICARIA, which is named after improving climate resilience of critical assets. It is a 36-month-long project which started on January 2023, meaning that we are already still on the very initial stages of the projects. We don't have specific results developed yet, so I will more focus on explaining what we intend to do in this project and why, of course. The consortium, sorry, consists of 15 different partners, and we have three main case studies, being the Barcelona region, the Salzburg region, and the South Asian regions. The project is coordinated by Aquatech and funded under the program Horizon Europe. This is a diverse consortium we're working with. We include both public and private research institutions, all somehow linked to research in the field of climate change adaptation and urban resilience. We also have on board critical asset operators as potential end users and experts on management of this kind of infrastructure, and representatives of the public sector, such as the metropolitan area of Barcelona, who represent the policy-making side of this game, put this way. ICARIA project was conceived in a context where over the last decades, a growing trend in the number of extreme weather events and natural disasters has been observed. As we all know, this is a big threat for society, the way we understand it, and especially for urban areas. We all know that due to their complexity, the many interactions and interconnections between services and citizens, cities are especially vulnerable to this situation. So in short, what we intend to do in ICARIA is to develop and to promote the use of a novel, comprehensive asset-level modeling framework. It should enable its expected end users, who would be especially risk owners, policymakers, or critical infrastructure operators, to assess their current state in terms of climate resilience, and to be able to screen which potential solutions would be more effective and more cost beneficial for their specific needs. And all that with special focus on the so-called complex and compound events. With some more detail. Currently, the stage we are in ICARIA is the first one. We are now working on developing asset-level models for impact assessment of climate and multi-hazard events. So here we are developing sectorial detailed numerical models to quantify the risks that different hazards, natural hazards, pose on specific infrastructure. Once all these tools are fully developed, they will be integrated all together in a single holistic tool that will serve to perform a risk assessment and resilience assessment of critical infrastructure from a regional point of view. This will enable policymakers to understand within their regions which are the most critical or most endangered services or spots, and therefore be able to plan more efficiently which would be the most beneficial solutions to improve their climate resilience. we are aware that all those developments that we intend to generate needs to be fully aligned with the needs of society and the urban areas we're going to be working with, and also, of course, with the regions. So a lot of effort is going to be devoted on the communication between the research sites and the action site or policy making, put this way. And finally, of course, we also need to ensure that every single tool, every methodology that we develop is easily exportable, and so it can be replicated in other EU regions who might be interested in developing this kind of assessment for themselves. Going back to our case studies, we have 3 of them. First one is the Barcelona metropolitan area. It's rather small region with a really high population, meaning that it's a very complex and dense urban area. The second one is the Salzburg region, a much more different place, much larger region that combines both densely populated urban areas with countryside and alpine mountainous regions. And finally, the South Asian archipelago, which is a total of 52 inhabited islands in the south of the Asian Sea, which have a rather low number of local inhabitants. However, they face a lot of stress due to the large number of tourism that they receive. Therefore, they experience huge fluctuations in terms of resources requirements or electricity consumption, etc. Therefore, we can see that we have three very different regions with very different characteristics, who of course face different risks and need different solutions. So in order to, on the first place, account for this diversity in our regions, and also to ensure that all the methods that we develop can be easily replicated in other regions, we've come up with the following strategy, which are the trials and the mini trials. So in order to explain this better, let's take the Barcelona case study, for instance. In the trial, we're going to be focusing on 2 specific hazards: floods associated to extreme rain events and storm surges. We're going to develop numeric models to quantify the impact of these climate hazards on a given range and a given number of critical assets which are of special interest for our region. Once these tools have been developed and implemented in the Barcelona case study, they will be replicated in the mini trial, for instance, in the South Asian region, who will be focusing on the same hazards. They will use the same methods and the same models that we have developed in Barcelona, and they will learn from our experience and from our developments, so they will have some already built-in models to apply. The same way, but the other way around, South Asian region will work on their trials on droughts, forest fires, and heat waves, developing models for assessing these hazards in a combined manner. And all the tools and developments that they reach will be later on implemented in the Barcelona mini trials, as they focus again on the same 3 hazards. And of course, the same goes for the interaction with these 2 case studies with the Salzburg region. So it's going to be a sort of an iterative process that is going to help us identify data gaps, specific requirements, and to better see how the initially developed models for one region needs to change or need to somehow be reshaped a little bit to be more easily implemented in another region. And one final aspect that I would like to remark about Project ICARIA is our focus on the so-called community of practice. We want to make sure that all our efforts are meaningful for their potential end users, as I've said before. So we've established one community of practice for each one of the 3 case studies. And for community of practice, I mean a group of diverse stakeholders who come from different sites, who have a common interest. In our case, of course, improving climate resilience of critical assets, naturally, meaning that they all have the same concern for one reason or another, and they have some experience, some information, some expertise that, if it's bring together, they can provide a good basis of knowledge to foster and to improve the solutions that we reach. So these COPs will consist of, from the consortium side, the case study facilitator and the risk owner. So two members of the project consortium, and then third parties that we are currently engaging to this working group. Could be, for instance, a body or a department of a regional or a national government who's focused specifically in policies related to climate change and adaptation. Operators of other critical infrastructures that we believe are essential for each given case study, representatives of the civil society, sorry, or even methodological agencies who have a lot to say in terms of which climate projections we take into account in our risk assessments. These groups are going to meet on approximately every 6 months, and in the so-called workshops that we will organize in order to have a very directional flow of information. We can hear about their needs and their expectations. They can hear about our concerns, our limitations, our data requirements, and somehow work together in ensuring that all the results that we reach are reliable and meaningful from them. This would be everything from our side so far. So thank you very much for inviting Project ICARIA to this workshop. And I guess that we are now open to questions in the round table.